we need to talk about context. Context is the all-important X factor that guides our lives and shapes our decisions, perhaps in a bigger way than any other factor possibly could. I'm sure there's been many decisions in your gaming history and in your real life too, where a decision to an outsider may look completely strange and odd, but within the context of the larger picture, the rest of the things that's going on in your life or the other things that are going on in the game, that was the decision that you had and should have made. Now, I've been making modits now for quite a few years, and I've been making Fallout modits now for about a month or two, and I've been focusing on individual mods, and I love doing that. Taking the time to let the mod breathe, showing it off, having a bit of laugh with it, and hopefully enjoying spending a bit of one-on-one time with you, just me and you and one mod. But context is important. So what I'd like to do in today's episode of Modit is to look at the whole mod picture, to give you the context of everything that is currently going on in my game, and I'd love it if you would then compare it to everything that's currently going on in your game and give me some feedback, and we can kind of compare, which must-have mods have we both, are we kind of missing out? What ideas have you kind of got for me in my mod order, and, and going back and forth. So this is gonna hopefully be a very special but regular episode of Modit. Maybe we'll do it once a month, where I basically kind of get out the mod list and say, this is what I'm currently playing with. This is what I've taken out and why. This is what I've added in and why. And here's my load order. And hopefully all of our Fallouts will all be just a little bit better. Because ultimately, if you want to make the greatest that Fallout can possibly be, you've got to mod it. So greetings and welcome to Modit, or Modlistit. That's as good a name as I've come up with at the moment. Let me know if you've got a better pun. I like puns. My mod list can be found in full on TheAdiposeTV.com, which is my website. Hello. And you can find the link below you in the description. And what I've done is I've written out the categories with the current things that are in my mod list right now. And this is the June edition of Mod List It. And anything that's in the past section will go here. Now, this one is going to be longer because this is the first time I've done this. So I'm basically going to talk through every mod and just say, this is what it does, this is why I've included it, or this is why I've taken it out. And then in future updates, I will just talk about the changes or any kind of updates to that mod. So this will probably be a longer one as I talk through the whole thing. So feel free to kind of watch it in sections if you want. And at the end, I'll show you my mod list mod order at the end. It's really nothing special. It's more or less the order that I've installed it, with a couple of little changes here and there, but you're welcome to have a look at it. I did actually try and put it into a better mod order, but then it stopped working. This video as well is going to be more kind of just like me talking in kind of one big long take. So if you're looking for a very snazzy, well edited video, this is not your video. So here we go. Starting with the animation section. Dancing Around the Wasteland. Stupid mod that just means you press a button and your character goes. I haven't used it in any of my role plays yet, but I want to. I want to find a character that just whenever he shoots a super mutant, just bops it on. Because he can. Lowered weapons, very important one, this one. If you'd like, the thing is, a lot of this is going to depend on how many people want these things. So I said in the introduction, if you like this idea as a video, then press the like button, even if you don't watch the whole thing, because I'll make more if it gets loads of likes, basically. Asking for comments here. If you would like me to go through my list and add phrases like essential, optional, not very good, or broken, or something like that, then put that in the comment section. Because again, that'll take me time, and I'll do it if lots of people are going to want it. I won't do it if no one does, or no one's watching this video. And in fact, I'm all here alone. fun. Lowered weapons is an essential one. It stops you from being a Dalek and walking around like this with your gun like pointing straight forward all the time, and it just kind of turns it like that and gives a far more kind of natural stance as you kind of wander around with it. Sit Anywhere is I've done a mod-it video on that. I should probably have my mod-it links into here as well. Sit Anywhere allows your character basically to sit on the floor, and I thought for some role-playing characters that'd be really good, especially kind of more kind of depressive ones or reflective ones. You know, that you can just press a button, sit down, have a little chat with the audience or with your own brain, and then off we go. Good for screenshots as well, for those of you that like to be like, I'm looking good. So armor. Armor Smith Extended is a really important one that probably most of you will get if you don't have it already. That basically allows you to put armor on top of any other piece of clothing, more or less. And so you know how most clothing, so there's a few bits of clothing where you can put the combat armor on top of it, but then most clothing, you put the clothes on, you put the combat armor, and it takes your top off, and you're standing there naked wearing armor. It looks weird. Armor Smith and Colt. Armor Smith allows you to put armor basically on top of everything. And most of it is compatible with another mod which is further down called Armor and Weapons Keywords Community Resource. There's a few mods that don't necessarily do much by themselves, but a lot of other mods are kind of need them to work. So Armor Smith Extended is great, and then further down it's called AWKCR, Armor and Weapon Keywords is really important too. Better Coursers. There's a few that as we go down that basically kind of, I think it's called like Better Raiders, Better Mutants, Better Coursers. That what they do is they tend to put a lot more variety into the guys you're going to face, so they don't all look identical, and gives them a few different outfits, maybe kind of adjusts the weapons and things that they have. There was a famous one on Fallout 3 called Martigan's Mutant Mod. I think it was Martigan. It began with M. It was MMM. And it basically took all the baddies and just made a huge variety. So some of them were taller, smaller, thinner, bluer, greener. And just every time you faced a creature, it looked slightly different. And it was brilliant for immersion. And a lot of these mods emulate that style, but in more kind of narrow field. So this is the Coursers version. Cross Jetpack. I have to confess, I've installed it. I haven't really used it, but I kind of figure at some point I might want to fly, so I've kept it. We've got West Tech Tactical Optics. Really professional mod been put together here. You know how some mods are kind of slapped together and, you know, there's not great documentation. This one's got really good stuff. And it basically allows you to have a craft night vision goggles or like a night vision eyepiece, or like a version where it's kind of red and it highlights living creatures, which works really, really well. And you can find the schematics for it and things like that. So it's integrated nicely into the world. And I've got the hiccups, which is great. This one I took off. I had it on a previous character. I think some of you may still like it. It makes the headgear invisible but still there. So, for example, for a character, it's really important to have a face and something you can kind of relate to and see, or just gorgeous hair, or maybe just a beautiful character that you fancy a little bit too much. But then you put him in power armor and you can't see him. But this mod basically allows you to have a helmet of some kind and still see the character, which is nice. Darth Vader armor. I did a permadeath Darth Vader to play through the other day. He didn't last very long. The Force was not with him, but the armor's great. Audio sound effects. Quieter Settlements it makes your settlements quieter. I did a mod-it on Quieter Settlements and showed basically what it does. It's pretty important, really, but it's a tweak. It's not essential, but it's important. Radiant Birds. There's loads of birds in the game, and I played through the whole game and didn't realise there were many birds around. Radiant Birds makes them tweet properly, and so you hear them from the moment you come out of the vault, and you just notice them a lot more, and you see them around, and they can even be quite scary at some point, a little bit kind of Alfred Hitchcocky. It's nice. Talby's realistic weapon sounds. A lot of people on my YouTube videos say, "Ooh, your gun sounds great." This is the mod, Talby's realistic weapon sounds, that does it. I have to confess, I installed this one at the beginning of my very first playthrough. So I don't know what the weapons actually are supposed to sound like. But I do know quite a few people tell me they sound really good. And it's that mod. It's quite an old one now. It came out a long time ago, but it makes a difference. Nothing in past. Audio voice. Right, I hate the player voice. I've made a mod-it video talking about player voice. There's one that changes the what you actually see on the screen, which is really important. This one goes hand in hand with that. It basically makes the guy shut up. So when he speaks, you just see that. There's another one called No Player Voice, which unfortunately isn't on the Nexus anymore. I don't know if there's an alternative that just skips the player talking. So you press the button and it just goes straight to the response. I liked them both. I think they do the same job slightly differently. And I can see why some people find the whole quite distracting. Other people kind of like to kind of talk along at the same time and kind of imagine they're saying it or whatever. Same job, different ways of doing it. Unofficial Fallout 4 patch, very, very important. There's a lovely group of people on the web. I don't know who they are, but they've been making unofficial patches ever since Fallout 3, maybe even before. Fallout games are so big that basically Bethesda, just by the law of everything, mucks things up. There's from everything, the major ones, from flying mammoths to the minor ones, like, this crashes here, or this doesn't quite work, or there's a missing item here, or blah, 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 blah. And the unofficial patches fix huge amounts of that. So that's a pretty important one to have, and to put fairly early in the load order as well. Clothing. Proto Vault Suit. I love Proto Vault Suit. I would recommend it even for a first-time playthrough. You get to choose your Vault Suit, and even if you use the default ones, it makes them look better. And then you can adjust it to a green one or a white one, and there's all sorts in there. It's really nice. The wearable backpacks and pouches and the wearable postman shoulder bags do similar jobs, and they're actually compatible with each other. It allows you to craft and make and improve and enhance backpacks and arm things and leg things, and it all increases your carry weight, and that's really important for survival, and probably for other modes too, but especially survival, where the weight limit is reduced. And it's not broken because you have to craft them. You can find the occasional one. I think I found one on my one playthrough, and I've been using it for a long time, but I've since had to kind of upgrade it and so on. And you can there's other mods that go with these where you can put logos on them. Like I've seen postman bags with like Grognak the Barbarian logos on it, and you can even get kind of outside the game logos to go on it and stuff as well. But you can have like an Institute one, or a Brotherhood of Steel one, or a Great Khans one, or something. So pass and not installed anymore. The Tron Vault Suit and the Proto Vault Suit. I kind of ummed and erred because the Tron Vault Suit ones glow, which is so cool. But ultimately, I decided it wasn't completely lore friendly, so I went with the other one. True Reporter, I am going to install when I get closer to Piper on my current playthrough. It basically kind of makes her look a lot more like a kind of bit more of a nerdy reporter. It gives her a camera and lots of like badges and stuff like that. I thought it was a really nice idea to up the character of the character. Does that make sense? Better patrol sunglasses. I don't use it anymore because my character's not wearing patrol sunglasses, but I used it on my Dylan playthrough. My Dylan playthrough, I had these cool sunglasses and then these awful sunglasses, and the awful sunglasses gave +1 charisma, and the terrible sunglasses the good looking sunglasses, which are these, did nothing. So this basically just tweaked the patrol sunglasses to give them +1 charisma. Companions, Ghost, White, Dog Meat. I think Dogmeat looks better in white for a few reasons. A, you can see him a lot better amongst all the brown of Fallout. And B, when loads of blood is flying everywhere, it lands on him and he runs past you like this kind of like splodged demon dog, which is disgusting and hilarious at the same time. You can also get loads of different eye colours in that one. There's loads of little tweaks you can do. I just went for the kind of standard, like, I'm a dog, so I've got dog eyes, but you can have like, proper like gold, red, whatever. Fallout Faceworks. I really like Fallout Faceworks. It's worth having a click through. It basically just tweaks everyone's face a little bit. Makes them look a little bit different. It's good for a second playthrough. It just makes them it almost kind of makes them look like they're played by a different actor. Not necessarily a better looking actor, but just a different actor. And it just makes the playthrough feel a little bit different without really costing any frame rate or doing much. I like it. Have a look. Unlimited companion frame rate is essential if you are a kind of big charismatic character. And my current playthrough, which is Mitch, and this is June 2016, the whole idea behind his character is that he's the community man and he wants to raise the settlements. And so my vision with him is eventually he ends up almost walking around in a little army. And to do that, I need to be able to have more than one companion at the same time, which is where Unlimited Companion Framework comes in, and it does the job very well. Valentine Reborn basically makes Valentine look better. So we're into the crafting sections here. This is quite new for me because I've only really just started building stuff over the last month or so. Do It Yourself, I did a mod video on. Go and check it out. It's awesome. You'll love it. It puts things on shelves. I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but actually, if you've ever tried to put something on a shelf and Fallout and gone, there we go, one thing, and now dropped it. It takes you half an hour to put 3 things on the shelves. So Do It Yourself is great. Increase the build limit, increases the build limit with a cool little zaps power effect. Don't use it if your computer can't go with it. OCD Decorate is really, really good. It allows you to kind of place objects that straight out of the workbench. So, for example, a camera, you'd normally have to get that out of your Pip-Boy, put it on the floor, pick it up, place it on. This allows you to put it down out of the workshop. And it also means that object will not be affected by physics. So if anyone bumps into it or knocks off a grenade or whatever, it won't go anywhere. Better ghouls is like what I said before. It improves the ghouls, gives them more variety. Glowing animals emit light, makes glowing animals emit light. So rather than just them being green, if you look at them in the day, if they come at you at night, you'll actually kind of see the outline kind of coming at you, and that's good. It's important. It worked well. I can see my green screen is playing up a little bit because the light in here is a little bit dodgy at the moment. But I don't care because this is mod listed, so it doesn't need to be nearly as professional as anything else. So let me just scratch my head. Right, I've changed my E and B since the last time I did this mod list. I used to use subtle E and B, which I thought was beautiful, and then I moved to photorealistic Commonwealth light, and then I moved to photorealistic Commonwealth, which is the same link. It's just the best looking Fallout I've seen. It's amazing. It hurts my frame rate so much, but I can't bear to take it off. And the guy behind it, Looping, is a really lovely chap as well, and very friendly. I've made a modded video on that. Go check it out. Environment, faraway area reform. It's the things that haven't actually kind of loaded into the game yet, and they're kind of far off. This makes them look better. Really, really important one. I think it actually improves your frame rate slightly, if I remember. It's one of those things that unless you kind of look off into the distance a lot, you don't really notice, but it's a nice little tweak. True Storm's Wasteland Edition basically makes those big bangs and big thunder claps that you get. However, the photorealistic Commonwealth comes with its own weather, and True Storms isn't doing a lot anymore for my playthrough, but it does by itself. In fact, I'll come back to this in a minute, but photorealistic Commonwealth removes the need for a lot of other mods, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Vivid Fallout landscapes, really good. It's some really good kind of lower, better looking textures for less, that are better optimized. And the same goes for Vivid Fallout trees. Wet makes the water look better. I think that one was updated recently. Actually, no, it wasn't. That was one of the other ones, but Wet's really nice. It's kind of, there's a few mods that are kind of like essential graphics mods, so they're not essential because they just improve the look of things that are there already without really kind of tweaking much. And all of these ones here probably go into that category. Delightful Ivy wasn't so delightful, so I took it off. Every time I walked past it, I was kind of reminded that it didn't look quite right, so I was always reminded that it wasn't actually part of the game. Grasslands is good, but the Resurrection mod is a lot better, which is coming a lot later, although Grasslands doesn't kill your frames per second, and Resurrection will. Nuclear Weather was awesome, but it's not compatible with photorealistic Commonwealth. Nuclear Weather kind of puts all these weird, crazy weathers into the game. Resurrection, I've done a modded video on Resurrection. Go and check it out. It's one of my favorite moddits. It's one of my favorite mods. It changes nothing from a gameplay perspective, but just turns the whole world into a green, overgrown paradise that's trying to kill you. Check out the modded video and enjoy. We are the minute. Oh, the reason why Resurrection is passed is it's just I'm going to have it on for certain characters and not others. As simple as that. It's also little plug and plead here. I basically need to upgrade some parts of my PC to be able to run photorealistic Commonwealth at full settings and mods like Resurrection at full settings. If you are a regular viewer of the channel and you would be willing to hit the donate button or become an Addy patron, if 10 of you sling me a $5, then I can get some more memory. It's that kind of thing. So if you are a regular viewer and you would be willing to contribute in that way, basically anything I make through YouTube gets spent on the games. It doesn't ever come. I keep the finances separate. So thank you in advance for anyone who does that. I'll put a link in the description actually for that. We Are the Minutemen. I've done a modded video that tweaks this one to fix a little glitch, but We Are the Minutemen's really good if you're going to play with the Minutemen. It changes the clothes they wear, so they're all kind of wearing blue. It improves how you kind of control them. It puts some of them in power armor as you kind of level up. It does all sorts of little tweaks to make the Minutemen a far better faction. Really nice. Alternate Start, Infinite Answer, and Another Life do similar jobs. They are alternative start mods. They do it slightly differently each. They're both updating at the moment. They're kind of in a competition to the death. Which one's better at the moment? Actually, I'm not sure. I would have said Alternate Start, Infinite Answer, but Another Life had an update yesterday, and this is the 6th of June, I think, and I haven't checked it out yet. So who knows? The fight is on. Autosave manager for survival, really, really important. It adds on some like, timed saves and saving after combat and things like that. It's been updated quite a lot recently. It's really nice. I did a mod video on that, I think. I can't remember what videos I've done now. I've done a few. Balanced survival quick save. I definitely have done a modded video on. This one allows you to quick save in survival if you're not in combat, and every time you save, it takes off a little bit of adrenaline, which I thought was a really nice idea. So I kept that one. Bullet times, awesome. It slows down time and it costs you AP points, and it's good for players like me that I kind of don't really like the way VAT stops everything, but at the same time, my reactions aren't quite fast enough to actually just play, especially on survival. Critical hits outside of VAT. If you're going to use bullet time, you need those two together. Because it allows you, because critical hits only happen in VATs. This allows critical hits to happen outside of VATs as well, and it's connected to your luck perk, and it does all sorts. And I've made a modded video on that one, which I'd love you to go and watch, because it shows I modded a gun so it had like a freezing effect whenever it got a critical hit, and I had some fun with ghouls and things. It was fun. By the way, because these are the gameplay effects, I mean, essentially going around the list, most of the mods are kind of aesthetic. These are like your key changes that actually change the way you have to play the game. There are a few in other categories, because some people categorize mods a little bit oddly, and the unassigned section is really big. It bugs me. People, just assign your mods, please. I know I could assign them myself, but then it's confusing, because then when they update, they go to the wrong place. Customizable needs and realistic side effects. Again, it's a survival mode tweak to make it a bit more bearable. It stops you being quite so hungry and things. Fallout 4 hotkeys. I've made a modded video on. It's a really important one, especially if you make videos and make mods. It allows you to basically set anything to any key you want. So, for example, change the weather, change the time of day, give yourself some more crafting materials, whatever. You just make a button to do whatever you want to do. And you can add on modifiers like shift this, shift that, blah, blah, blah. So I use Fallout 4 hotkeys with bullet time to allow me to change my VATS key to be bullet time. Give me a minute, man. I made a modded video on last week. It shuts up, that bit where you're kind of deciding what to say, and the other person's like, are you still here, or are you dead in the face? And it stops them doing that. Journey, nice survival tweak. It allows you to not fast travel unless it's between two settlements that you own that are connected by a supply line. Nice tweak. War of the Commonwealth. I made a modded video on it. Go and check it out. It's one of my favorites, because I got attacked in the middle and basically ran screaming. And it's cool. It just adds loads more spawns to the Commonwealth, and it's being constantly updated. And the mod guys have checked out quite a few of my videos, and they're very friendly, and lots of updates. And they were nice enough to make me a little tweak to adjust my game as well. And it basically just makes the wasteland a lot more busy, and it's incredibly customizable, so you can have it so it just adds a few more things here and there, or you can have it so the Commonwealth is a war. However, you customize it however you want. It's brilliant. Probably an essential, depending on your PC and how much you like fighting. So ones I've taken off. Legendary lamps has been replaced by another one. Basically, longer power lines. No, longer power lines should be in the real one. And survival quick save, I've replaced with the one that has the balanced survival quick save. Miscellaneous, unlimited survival activations. Occasionally I flick survival mode on and off to allow me to build things better, and toggle God mode for videos and things. So it just lets me turn survival mode on and off and on and off. Fallout script extender is vital for Place Anywhere and a few other mods. It allows the mod authors basically to make kind of more complex things happen behind the scenes. And note that's not on the mod Nexus White website in the same way as others. Stuff like this definitely won't be on for consoles, and won't be for a very long time, if ever. This is the armor and weapons keyword community resource I mentioned earlier. A lot of other things are compatible with it. Basically, because if one person makes a mod about armor, and then another person makes a mod with armor, and another person makes a mod with armor, the chances of them being compatible with each other is pretty small, because they're all modifying the same stuff. Stuff like this mod, armor and weapons community resource, is a way that other mod authors can all kind of follow the same kind of format and tool and make them all compatible with each other, which is a lovely idea. Models and textures. So this all changes nothing about the game, but makes it generally look better, feel better. So better I'm not going to go into detail on them, but you can see what they do, because they're all kind of named after it. A very famous one here, the Beautiful Bodies mod. There's like a naked version and an underwear version, so I use the underwear version. In case my daughter walks in and says, "Daddy, what are you doing?" And I say, "Oh, playing Fallout with this naked girl." Electrical tower, enhanced blood textures, very important one, that one, makes your blood better. Fallout 4 texture optimization project, that will gain you some frames per second. It's a big file, but it's big file which is smaller than the files that are in the game already, which is nice. Fallout texture overhaul for the Pip-Boy, makes your Pip-Boy look a lot better. Some HD textures, improved map with visible roads, that's a very popular one. Jester's destroyed vehicles, I like that one. And Langley's HD textures workshop. Basically, a few of these are like, take some of the objects like the Nuka-Cola machines and things like that and just make them look a lot better. For these kind of mods where they're just graphic replacements, whichever one you have lower down in the mod order, or whichever one you install later, because some of the files overwrite each other, will be the texture you see. So these are some of the ones where the load order matters. If you've got a mod that changes how much damage you take in survival mode, and you've got another mod which changes the way a wall looks, it doesn't matter at all which order those mods go in. It's only when you've got mods that edit the same things that load order becomes important. Raiders overhaul I already talked about. Realistic words is just texture. Street signs, I think street signs are really important because I look at them, and then when they look sucky, it looks horrible, so that's good. Synth overhaul does the same thing. Eyes of beauty, I resisted that one for a while because I thought the eyes looked a bit unrealistic, but they're beautiful, but they're unrealistically beautiful in my view, but lots of other people like them, and it's got something like 30,000 endorsements, so I'm clearly in the minority, so I gave in. Tuki's textures, I want to make a modded video on that one at some point, because it's plants, and I think it has a really lovely balance between making the wasteland a little bit more green, but in a realistic way that doesn't destroy the lore. If you look at a lot of Mitch's adventures from about episode kind of 10-ish onwards, that's a bit of a guess. A lot of that is done with Tuki's adventures. I kind of changed some of the plants as we went. Wasteland creatures we've done makes them a lot more kind of colourful and look a bit vicious. It's the kind of thing you'd install on the second playthrough. It just makes them look a bit different. Really nice. Alternative synth eyes is gone. Really Red Rocket Man is gone. I liked Really Red Rocket Man, but I was having frames per second issues, and it turned out Rockin' Red Rocket and Really Red Rocket Man were costing me frames per second. I don't know if that was my fault for installing it badly or something, but I gained something like 8 frames a second by removing that. Better settlers and settler renaming improve the things that your settlers wear and how they act, and settler renaming allows you to... which ones I got settler and renaming because it had a good tutorial in it to allow you to custom name your settlers. It was like a text one, and I might make a modded video out of that at some point because I like to name it after my stream. A lot of my streamers on the stream viewers are now in my playthrough because I named them after them. It's a little bit fiddly, but it does work. Player homes, for some reason, Natural Face has categorized itself in player homes. Natural Face is basically just a really nice face texture. Adds a few more, dimples and pimples and stuff, but just generally makes the skin look a little bit more touchable, pliable. Player homes, I've taken them out because I'm not using them and they cause frames per second issues. Quests and Adventures, the Collector's Guides is awesome. I'm not using it in my current playthrough, but I certainly will with my permadeath ones. It adds searching for bobbleheads and searching for magazines as quests. So you activate a particular one. So say, for example, I wanted to get all of the picket fence magazines, whatever it's called. You click that particular quest, it activates it, adds those ones to your map, and off you go and you get them. And so you can have as many of them active as you like, or not. Unassigned, thank you unassigned mod authors for your amazing mods. They are awesome. Please could you assign them. Beaton interiors at the moment is not on the Nexus because of all the hacking thing I was talking about, but it's great. It basically just adds a lot more interiors to the wasteland. Better settlement beds is good. Had the bunk beds. I showed that in a modded video. Conquest is brilliant. It allows you to camp anywhere and build settlements in places where you wouldn't otherwise have settlements, which is nice. Craftable interior doorway does what it says on the tin, but that's quite useful for settlements. Dogmeat's backpack is so cute, and it lets them carry more. Immersive vendors, if you are into settlement building, that's a brilliant essential one. It basically means on the desk in front of the vendor, there's just a lot more stuff on there, so it's like instant decoration without you doing anything. Pam's power armor sounds, instead of just like kind of like, it makes it like type of stuff. It's good, and there's lots of different variations in there that you can customize to it. Pip-Boy flashlight is what replaced one of the other ones up here. It allows you to completely customize how bright your light is, what shape your light is, whether it has shadows, all sorts. Yeah, it's brilliant. I would go and get that one. And Super Mutant Ducks does the same as all of the other ones with Raiders and all that kind of stuff, just adds more changes and tweaks them. That's pink. Scrap dead things is if a body's in your settlement, it allows you to scrap it. Scrap everything allows you to scrap everything. That's only in the past just because I haven't used it recently, but it's a really good mod. And for those of you that like to start from a completely clean slate, and I do mean completely, as in you can literally scrap everything and just end up with dirt on the floor. You can go that on. Preston Garvey overhaul got replaced by We Are the Minutemen and that face overhaul thing. Warson's immersive power armor. Sorry, that should actually be in the current one. That's puts loads of different color power armor into the game and makes it look a lot newer and fresher. I have it installed at the moment, but I haven't actually got it. I'm not actually using any of those power armors at the moment, which is good. Death UI is brilliant, and you can get lots of presets for it. I'm currently using one called Clean HUD, which makes it, really kind of puts not a lot of stuff on my screen, so it's hopefully more kind of immersive. There's a new immersive t-shirt mod on the Nexus, actually, which is quite good. Full dialogue interface, I mentioned earlier. My voice is getting hoarse because I've been talking too long. Full dialogue interface makes it so you can actually see what your character's going to say. I made a Moddit video. In fact, that was my first Moddit video. Small map markers, I've made a Moddit video about. It takes the map markers and makes them smaller, which makes the map a lot easier to read. Also makes them colour. Valdecils, I hope I spelled that right, item sorting, improves lots about how the items kind of interact with each other and how those kind of UI looks, and puts them in different orders in your Pip-Boy, and it's good stuff. And that replaced better item sorting. This one seems to be updated more regularly, so that's whatever. Fallout 4 Seasons, I've just made it snow in Mitch's world. Haven't got to that point in YouTube yet, but that's why that's there. It's good. Vivid Fallout Rocks, talked about that kind of stuff earlier. Wasteland Salon just makes the hair, it puts a bit of highlighting in the hair, makes it look a little bit more, I don't know if it's realistic, but it's certainly more interesting. Right, all these ones are brilliant and possibly essential mods. Darker Night, Dynavision, Fallout 4 Enhanced Color Correction, Frozen's Light Tweaks, and Remove Interior Fog. They are fantastic and they are essential, unless you are using Photorealistic Commonwealth. Because Photorealistic Commonwealth does basically all of these for you. In a slightly different way. So if I was still using Subtle ENB or whatever the other one is that's big on the Nexus, I'd probably still be using all of these, but they don't go with Photorealistic Commonwealth. So make your choice, have a fiddle, preferably with the game. Weapons, current one I've still got installed is Wasteland Melodies Chinese Assault Rifle, and which is a brilliant, just because I love it. I loved it in Fallout 3, so I want it again. And I've had the lightsaber one on my Darth Vader playthrough, and Elemental Unarmed is a modded video which is coming out tomorrow, unless of course you're watching this tomorrow or afterwards, in which case it came out in the past. So it's ready out. Go and have some fun with it, because it's fun. Right, I've been talking way too much. I hope that was useful for many of you. If you have liked it, please leave me a comment. Tell me about mods that you think are essential that I've missed. And tell me about, I don't know, if there's anything here that you're like, oh, I'm going to try that. And if you think this mod video is a good idea or a bad idea, then let me know. What shall I do with this mod list? I'll tell you what, I'll make a new post on my website that has my current list. But it's essentially in the order that I installed it. There's nothing particularly special about it. It just seemed to kind of, if something doesn't work, I'll tweak it, basically. But I'll put it up for those of you that want it. Thank you for watching, and thank you to me for doing all of the work and putting it all together and generally being awesome. So thanks me. Goodbye.